Okay, I am recording. You can start by telling me the name of the police department and then walk me through what happened.
Okay, the police department was the County of San Bernardino Sheriffs Department in Victorville, California.
Okay, and what did they do?
What happened was I had gone out to have dinner and drinks with my boyfriend, and afterwards, as we left the parking lot, we were pulled over by, it was what I was told was a SWAT team, and it was like a minivan and a car. They were both unmarked.
Okay.
My boyfriend was arrested, and then I was arrested. I was in the passenger seat, and they wouldn't tell me why I was being arrested. And when I asked them, they were cussing at me, just telling me to shut up, and then they separated him and I to question us.
Mm-hmm.
The officer that was arresting him was telling him to shut up, and he hit him with a flashlight in his stomach. And then he was telling me that he wanted to know where my boyfriend was employed and that he was refusing information. And if I didn't tell him that he was going to smash my boyfriend's face with the flashlight.
Okay, let's back up a second. The officer, you saw the officer hit your boyfriend in the stomach with a flashlight?
Yes.
Okay, and when you saw that, had your boyfriend done anything to threaten the officer in any way or provoke any sort of reaction from the officer? Did the officer do that on his own?
You know what, honestly, I was separated from him to where I couldn't hear what they were saying, but my boyfriend was already being handcuffed when he hit him with the flashlight, so...
Okay, so...
but I'm not sure verbally what was happening because I couldn't hear.
Okay, well, skip the verbal part and just tell me what you saw. Did you see your boyfriend do anything threatening to the officer?
No, I can just see them talking back and forth, and then I heard the police, he raised his voice, and he was like, shut up before I hit you, and then hit him, and then the officer that was holding me across the way was like, your boyfriend needs to give us the information you want, or you need to give us the information before the other officer smashes his face with a flashlight.
So they were also, not only did they strike him, but they were threatening to hit him again?
Yes.
Okay. And who was it that was making the threats? Do you know the officer's name? And if not, would you recognize him?
Yes, I know his name is Officer Ogaz. It's A-G-A-Z.
Okay. All right. And do you know what they charged your boyfriend with, why they arrested him? Did they say?
It was for DUI because he had heavy drinks that night too. So he was arrested for DUI, and later they told me it wasn't until hours after I was arrested they finally told me that I was arrested for drunken in public. I believe it's drunken in public, but I was never in public. I was a passenger in the car.
Okay. All right. They arrested you for drunk in public. Was it charge 647F?
I'm holding the paperwork. This is his... Mine says that Buchanan charge PC647F, disordered conduct alcohol. Okay, all right. They may have introduced that charge to justify arresting you. Do you think you were drunk, or do you know? No, I don't think I was drunk.
Okay.
I have had a couple of drinks, but I wasn't drunk, and I wasn't in public or any kind of disorderly conduct.
Okay, but they arrested you anyway at the scene, and they arrested your boyfriend for being drunk or drunk driving. Did they do anything else to you, and did they give you any other charges?
No, they took me to jail. They took me out to, I guess, what was like something that they had set up outside, like a trailer where I don't know if they were doing like checkpoints or something like that, but they had me there where they then breathalyzed him. And they let me out of the handcuffs for a minute, and then they took us into jail, and they took my property, and I guess they didn't really book me, but they put me in a holding cell. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
all right, well, let me tell you what I think based on what you've told me so far, okay?
Okay.
All right, number one, you have grounds for an excessive force complaint against the officer who struck your boyfriend. You have grounds for an unprofessional conduct complaint against the officer who threatened to smash your boyfriend's head in if he didn't provide information. You also have an unprofessional conduct complaint for the language that was being used, and you may have a false arrest or false report complaint based on the fact that you were not legally drunk and that you were not doing anything more than taking a ride with your boyfriend back to your house. I'll need more information to tell you more, but that's my general assessment right now. Is he out of jail?
That's not all. There's a lot more that happened.
Okay, well, tell me.
The other thing was my property. When the police officer took my property, I was trying to record what was going on on my cell phone at the time that we were being arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he took mine and my boyfriend's cell phones at the time of the arrest, but they only booked my boyfriend's property into evidence. The next day, the officer called me on my boyfriend's phone and told me to meet him behind the building where I was arrested, or where I was kept, the jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him behind the jail, and he returned my phone to me, and everything was erased off of the phone.
So they erased the content.
The phone was taken apart.
The deputy.
He returned the phone, the battery was separated, and he said he had to go through it, and he was trying to turn it off because it was going off, and he didn't want to go through the trouble of checking it into evidence, so he just returned it to me privately. He wasn't even in a police vehicle.
And had you recorded anything on the phone that was of value?
I was actually recording when we were being pulled over.
And so they went in and deleted it.
I believe so. My phone, it was gone off of my phone. There was no recording left on my phone when I received it back, and my property was not checked into evidence. Like, he took it home with him and called me the next day and returned it to me privately.
Okay. That's really pretty interesting. We can actually call that cop and ask him why he did it that way, but I think that's also a policy violation, and we should make that an issue in your complaint. Okay.
I'm not sure about policies or anything. I just went online, and your website was the website that I found, so I was just trying to get information on how to, report these things.
Well, we're going to help you. Let me just tell you what we're going to do. We are going to send you back a copy of the complaint you filed with us, and that will have instructions on what you are to do next in terms of your complaint. And if you need additional help, we'll be happy to provide it. Right now, I'm satisfied that you have a serious complaint, and it needs to be investigated.